Hola, this lesson might feel a little bit like a grammar class, but the vocabulary is important. In this lesson, we'll be talking about sustantivos, or nouns. If you're not sure what a noun is, ay de mí! A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. In Spanish, we can typically tell what a noun is based on if it has an article in front of it. An article is a word that comes before a noun that signals it as a noun. In English, we use the, a, an, and some. Now an example. If you didn't know English at all, okay, and you saw a word like aardvark in a dictionary or just on a piece of paper, and you didn't know what it meant, you may as well assume it's an action or a verb. So you might tell somebody, I'm going to aardvark you. Now you wouldn't recognize that this was totally incorrect and very strange until somebody gives you a weird look. We know it's a noun when we see the aardvark or an aardvark or even some aardvarks. So without the, an, or some, we have no idea that this is even a noun. And that's what helps us to realize it's a person, place, or thing. In this video, we're going to cover the in Spanish. The is a definite article. This means that we are talking about a specific noun. Okay? So if I ask someone to pass me the pencil, I'm talking about a specific pencil. I don't want just any pencil. I want the pencil. So in Spanish, the way we say the is el, la, los, las. What? 4 ways? Pfft, goodness gracious, that's loco. Well, okay. Imagine this simply stated. The article in Spanish is useful in helping us figure out what the gender is, if it's male or female, as well as how many there are. So between these two words, okay, try to figure out which one is male and which is female. They both mean student, okay? The first one, el estudiante, is a male student. The second, la estudiante, is a female student. So the rule is, we use el for masculine or male, and la for feminine or female. Now, the words aren't usually the same, so here's some better examples. El chico is the boy. La chica would be the girl. El hombre, the man. La mujer, the woman. But again, the el or la helps us in the case of doubt. So if we're not sure and we see an L, then we know for sure that'd be a boy. Now, let's say that I want to say not the boy, but the boys. For chico, we're going to add an S, and you have chicos. But we can't say el chicos because it doesn't really make sense. El is referring to one boy. So we have to make sure we're saying the plural boys, which would be los chicos. Now for the man, we add an S to hombre and then change el. We have los hombres. Let's try the girls. For the girl, it's la chica. Let's add S's and we have las chicas. We can't say los chicas because los is for multiple men. Okay, we have to say las for multiple females. What's really confusing in this idea, though, is that we have el, la, los, or las, and they all translate to the, but they do have different uses. Okay, here comes the tricky part, especially for those of you who have never studied a Romance language before. All nouns have gender. Huh? Okay, it doesn't mean that they reproduce. It doesn't mean that they have boyfriends and girlfriends and that kind of stuff. But all nouns are going to be either masculine or feminine. Okay? Actually, English used to have this happen to it too, but for some reason over time it just stopped. Weird. Okay, to show how this works in Spanish, let's go over some basic vocabulary for the classroom and see how this works. Some masculine words, again, you can tell this by the el in front. El libro, el bolígrafo, el pupitre, el reloj, el armario, el diccionario, el cuaderno, el lápiz, el marcador. Okay, and now some feminine words, we can tell this because they have a la in front. La mesa, la calculadora, la carpeta, la mochila, la regla, la bandera. And what's really weird about this is you're just going to have to memorize if a noun is male or female and it's not a person. Okay, it's just going to be up to you. Notice, if the noun is masculine, it usually ends in an O. If it's feminine, it usually ends in an A. Now, see if you can figure out the following objects. If you see a picture of the object as one, say the object as one. If you see more than one, make sure to have los or las in front and add an S in the end of your noun. Now, if a word ends in a vowel, add an S. If it ends in a consonant, which is a non-vowel, add an ES. See if you can do it. La regla. Las banderas. Los pupitres. La mochila. Las carpetas. El diccionario. Los marcadores. La mesa. Los bolígrafos. Muy bien. One more thing. What's interesting is that in Spanish we use the articles way more than we do in English. A typical rule that I might tell my students is, unless you are completely sure that there is no article needed in a sentence in Spanish, make sure to put one in. Okay? Because they usually use them when we don't. An example. Me gusta leer los libros. Translates to, I like to read the books. Well, in English, I'm going to say, I like to read books. But in Spanish, I have to make sure that the is there. Okay? So we don't translate it in English, but it's still there in Spanish. It's common that you'll have the article in Spanish, even though it's not used in English. Okay? Hopefully this made sense. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions. Gracias y adios.